Hi Anna, I've read your text 4, or your task 4, and I'd like to comment a little bit about the organization of the text. And also I want to give you some pointers on how you can edit your text to make it stronger in the future. In very short terms, there are 3 phases when we write. The first is conceptualizing what we want to write, and then the first draft of that. The second phase is the editing, where you organize it in the most logical way. You consider what to keep and maybe what to throw away, how to strengthen your argument and organize it so that it sort of becomes a coherent whole. And then the final phase is the proofreading, when you look for typos, you look for grammatical errors, you look at the layout, all of those things. That would be in the proofreading phase. The reason why we keep the 3 phases separate is that it's much easier for us when we write, usually, to have like one focus at a time. Also, it means that you look at your text more than once, and it always becomes better the second or third or fourth time around. So that's what professional writers do. I would suggest that you at least go over the text once before handing it in. Ideally, leave it for a couple of hours, even a whole day if you have the time, and then go back and look at it and see, am I still happy? Is this still a text that is orientated towards a reader? That's really important. That's what the whole issue for me is about, is for you to write with the reader in mind. I would suggest that, or I would say that you have a really good start because you have a very good intro. You could, however, maybe introduce Breitenbach a little bit more so that we know from the beginning who he is and why his point of view is relevant. But there's a good title, there are good subheadings, you're quite clear in your communication, there's good coherence. Page 3 becomes a little bit harder because that's where you have a lot of information that needs to be synthesized. You take it and you combine it according to your analysis. That part of the text should be clearer, and you should focus on the paragraphs because that will instantly make everything clearer. So organize your information into paragraphs according to what the information has in common, and see what you've got in that sort of editing phase. See what are the main points that you're making, and then you put all the information relating to that main point A in a box. And then you build it up, and then you look at, what have I got? Does it make sense? Is it logically organized, etc.? Because right now, I kind of get it, but I get it because I understand it, but it's a bit vague, and it can be much stronger. And it's there, all the kind of raw material is there. You just need to tweak the organization for it to be clearer. And what happens is that you instantly become more of an authority because you are in control. And you've actually done the analysis, you've done the work, you've looked at the sources, you've made your mind up and had a good think about it, basically. And we want you to present your train of thought in the most logical way, because that really gives you legitimacy as a writer. Okay, so that's in the editing phase. So keep that in mind, that when you start to get into the more complex areas of your text, where you have to say something and you have to sort of make sense of all the information, that's when you really need to kind of have those templates that I presented you with when we first met, of the paragraphs. But outside of that, I will repeat again, good communication, good coherence, much better than what I saw the first time, so that's really good. What else have I got here? Okay, also look also to the other paragraphs and see if you think they're long enough. Some of them to me seem a bit short, but that's but it's, you can debate whether or not they are, but I would like you to consider that in editing anyway. I have a couple of things to do with kind of the very local level of the text. Please don't write DK when you meet Denmark. There are a couple of countries that we're allowed to abbreviate, and that's the US and the UK, maybe the UAE, the United Arab Emirates. Those would be okay. DK to a British or an American writer, they don't know what that is. So write Denmark, okay? Also, when you write it in kind of sub-headlines, we want the whole thing, not the abbreviation, even if it's the United States or the United Kingdom. We want the whole thing. You can be a little bit more informal using UK and US in the body text, but not in the heading. When you write, like refer to like a Danish organization or a Danish part of government, like Beredskabsstyrelsen, it's fine to put it in quotation, but you should kind of have like between two commas, like in a bracket, but between two commas, a very short description of what is that. Or you can do a footnote if you want, but kind of explain that to the reader. What is it? You may be able to find, if you go to their website, they may even have a description of what they do in English, and that would give you the official translation of what Beredskabsstyrelsen. And then means, mål og midler, we talk about means and ends, right? Means is always plural. It's always with an S, even if we talk about a means. It's a means to an end, we say in English. So just keep that in mind as well, but that's on a very kind of detailed level. So intimation, a lot of good things are working. You've got, I think, a good handle on your communication now. You just need to tweak the paragraphs where you have a lot of complex information. That's kind of the last push you need. I think that's it for me. I've talked enough now. I will see you on the last Friday of the course. If you want to drop me an email because there's something that doesn't make sense, you can do that before we see each other, obviously. But I will see you on the Friday. Bye.